Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of Straight Talk Whiskey. I'm Nick here with you as always, and thanks for joining us for episode number 110. So today, in the spirit, no pun intended, of the upcoming 85th anniversary of the Repeal of Prohibition, we've got Jim Beam's Repeal batch. So this is a limited edition that you won't find on their website, which I have tried finding, just can't locate it. I just saw this in passing at the grocery store, just looking at the shelf, seeing what was there. Didn't really intend to buy anything, and then just saw this, so I thought might as well scoop that up and do a little review before it's gone. So, like I said, it is in honor or remembrance, tribute, what have you, of the 85th anniversary, which will be on December 5th of this year. And so that was back in 1933 where Prohibition was repealed. So a lot of cheerful celebration from folks. One of the originals, James Beam, 120 days after Prohibition was repealed, had, rebuilt and was back going right at it. So the bottle is pretty cool. It's got sort of some graphics and text that are harken back to the 30s, and give you a little bit of that feel. Of course, a classic, just Jim Beam bottle itself. But the interesting thing about this is, and this is actually telling about other Jim Beam expressions, so that this says right on the bottle that it's non-chill filtered. So what we do know is that they do use chill filtration on their other whiskeys, because otherwise they would have told us had they not. So this bourbon, it's a straight bourbon. Typically, most of Jim Beam's bourbons, unless otherwise stated, are aged about 4 years or older. So we've got that going for us. We also got 43% ABV, so we got a nice 86 proof going on in there. And so just interesting. I really like the bottle of this, or the label actually is pretty cool. So, and he also got established sort of 1795 is etched on the bottle, which is kind of cool. So let's go in, look at it. So it says on the bottle that you may notice some cloudiness or some particulates in there. I haven't really noticed it. It's not appearing cloudy or anything sitting on the bottom, but maybe your bottle will be different if you have those. I don't know how many they've released of this. I just know that it's a limited edition. So if we look at the color, we've got a sort of soft straw color going on there, just a light pale gold color. We'll go in for the nose. So one thing you notice right off the get-go is that comparing this to just a regular standard entry line Jim Beam, is you're getting a lot more notes and aromas and punch coming off of this as you would with the original. So that strong, just quintessential bourbon note, strong vanilla, honey, big spicy punch. Definitely some cinnamon, some like fresh peppercorn in there. Just really nice, sweet, flavorful, or very aromatic rather. So let's go in for the taste. Definitely a lot bigger, bolder mouthfeel than you would get with the standard Jim Beam. And it really just carries through those aromas that I was getting on the nose, in that you get a really strong bourbon notes of vanilla and charred oak and cinnamon, and a lot of spice going on in there too. It's too bad that they have to use the chill filtration, because I think they could do wonders without it. Though I don't know that the market cares that much. And what I mean by that is typically the people who are going to be drinking Jim Beam are just like typical going to the bar looking for, whatever's on special whiskey wise, which is typically going to be, the shelf whiskey that they, the bottom shelf there, or the well drinks, if you will. So it's just going to be your standard Jim Beam is probably what they're going to go to. Saying it's like the equivalent of Johnny Walker, Scotch. So the Jim Beam is just going to be there. It's just like Jack Daniels in the sense that it's just, time modern. You know what you're getting. People know what they're getting into. They'll probably mix it in cocktails and that sort of thing. So to non chill filter would be, to do something that, the market doesn't really care too much, except for some of the people who go out and look for some of the Jim Beam's got some signature editions out there, which are interesting. I'm not sure. I haven't had those yet, so I don't know if they are chill filtered or not. I would have to check into that. But if you look at a lot of the other expressions by Jim Beam, it's a lot of the flavored whiskeys that are out there and just every possible variation. And I did a ton of those back when I was doing a mini series on Jim Beam. So if you want to check those out, that's totally there. So I would prefer the non-chill filtration because I think it allows more of those flavors to come through. But I can see why it's not sort of a standard thing that gets done with Jim Beam expressions. So, like I said, it's really nice, palatable, approachable whiskey, which is pretty standard for Jim Beam itself, right? It's not like overly harsh on the entry. You're not getting like a high, the alcohol burn and that sort of thing. This one's really sort of soft, mellow. It's carrying through a lot of those toasted oak vanilla notes, and certainly some of the spiciness is there, but more so probably on the nose with the spice. But I think the one thing that I think is hindering the experience for me just a little bit is the fact that I like to keep my place just as cold as possible typically. And I have my windows open during the day most of the winter. So this is actually pretty cold right now. It's probably, I don't know temperature wise what it is, but it's definitely probably 50s-ish. So I would actually want this sort of more 70 degrees to taste this, because I think it would be a little bit better. Certainly in the summer it would be nice at this temperature, but for winter, I don't know that it's the sort of hearty, soul-warming whiskey or bourbon that you may be looking for on a cold winter's night. So just if you're looking for a certain occasion to place this. But it is, for what it's worth, an excellent bourbon from Jim Beam. It's a really interesting expression. I may grab another bottle or two of this because I think it makes, other than being a limited edition, it would be a great daily drinker just to have, a little nightcap or something with dinner. This would be a great one to do. To step up from the Jim Beam standard. And price-wise, this is priced, I think the average nationally is about $17.99. I probably paid a little bit more for it because where I am, the taxes on alcohol are just insane. So my pricing, I tend not to give out too much because it's probably going to be a lot more inflated than a lot of the rest of the country and where you get it. But so just know that I think the average around there is about $17.99. So there you have it. That's it for episode number 110. Just some quick news if you're following along, especially in the Irish whiskey sector, which I'm a huge fan of. If I could just sit here and do Irish whiskeys all the time, I would. They get a little bit costly, but some new news out of Mitchell & Sons in that we've got some new spot whiskeys. There's a new red spot single pot still Irish whiskey, which is a 15-year-old, I believe. And it harkens back to the old days where they used to put sort of these little paint dabs on there to denote the age. So there was the green, the yellow. Got these right here for you. So just fantastic whiskeys. These I've had for years. I'm just like afraid they're gonna disappear or something. But anyway, they've got Red Spot, which is 15 years. They do have, or they used to have a Blue Spot, which I believe is younger than all of these. But maybe we'll see that down the line, because I think this release is just huge. I've seen it. Every other post on Facebook has been about it. There's also, not to be missed, is a Green Spot Cast Strength limited edition that's out there. I would love to get my hands on it. I'm not sure of the availability in the US right now. I think it's pretty limited. So if I can, I'm going to get some shipped over from Ireland. I'm probably going to pay a little bit on the shipping, but to get, whiskeys like that, you cannot beat it. So if you get your hands on it, let me know. I'm going to be like crying if I can't get it before Christmas. So there you have it for episode number 110. As always, if you're going to drink responsibly, and we'll see you next time.